Hi, I'm Ann Webb, Policy Director with Common Cause North Carolina, and these are 5 things you need to know about North Carolina politics this week. Number 1. Another week has gone by and there's still no new state budget for North Carolina, even though the new fiscal year began weeks ago on July 1st. In fact, House Speaker Tim Moore told reporters on Monday that there's, quote, zero chance of a budget being passed by the Republican-controlled House and Senate this month. While budget wrangling drags on, it looks like state legislators will be back in Raleigh in the week ahead as the Republican supermajority attempts to override vetoes by Democratic Governor Roy Cooper on bills affecting transgender youth, charter schools, and more. And lawmakers could be taking up other legislation in the coming days, including bills dealing with voting in elections. Number 2. The delay on a new state budget directly impacts the lives of North Carolinians. For instance, the holdup on a spending plan means Medicaid expansion is also on hold. According to a report by WRAL News, Medicaid expansion will affect an estimated 300,000 people on day 1 and another 300,000 as enrollment efforts ramp up, eventually covering about half of the currently uninsured people in North Carolina. But that life-saving access to Medicaid coverage remains out of reach, while legislative leaders continue to battle behind the scenes on other budget items. Number 3. One of the sticking points over the budget is whether to allow more casinos in North Carolina. A draft proposal floated last month would allow new casinos in 4 areas of the state, including Rockingham County, home to the Senate's powerful Republican leader, Phil Berger. The prospect of casinos in Rockingham County and elsewhere has been a topic of controversy among local residents, and there appears to be division among legislators on the issue, with some favoring legalizing more casinos to help pay for tax cuts and boost economic growth in certain parts of the state, versus others who have moral objections to gambling and concerns about potentially harmful effects on local communities. Number 4. While closed-door budget wrangling dominates discussions around the legislature, voting rights groups and bipartisan election officials continue to raise alarms over a trio of dangerous bills that still loom over this year's legislative session. House Bill 772 would permit partisan poll observers to roam freely inside polling places at any time, letting them record conversations with poll workers and take pictures of voter intake paperwork. That raises troubling concerns about protecting voters' privacy and guarding against intimidation inside polling places. Senate Bill 749 would radically change the structure of the State Board of Elections and could lead to politically motivated gridlock, possibly resulting in dangerous inaction and sowing chaos in election administration. Senate Bill 747 would impose harmful restrictions on absentee voting by mail, eliminating a 3-day grace period for absentee ballots properly postmarked by Election Day to be received by county boards of elections after Election Day. That change could especially hurt older voters, people with disabilities, and voters in rural communities who rely on absentee voting, but who could have their ballots unfairly thrown out because of delays in mail delivery. Last month, a bipartisan group of 32 county election officials sent a letter to state lawmakers raising objections about these bills, urging legislators to contact county elections board members and staff to hear their concerns about how the proposals would affect the voting process. Number 5. Our Unite NC Town Hall Tour continues across North Carolina. Already, more than 500 people have attended these nonpartisan town halls, sharing their views and concerns about this year's legislative session and holding lawmakers accountable to the public. The Unite NC Town Hall Tour is headed to Wilmington on Monday night and Salisbury on Thursday. Find details and see more tour stops at ccnc.me/UniteNC. Those were 5 things you need to know about North Carolina politics this week. Join us online anytime at commoncausenc.org.